You're listening to All Country News.
Love it. So normally I start by asking, like, who are you listening to right now? What's your favorite song of the summer? But in the spirit of the Olympics, have you been watching any Olympics? If not, is there a sport you think you could medal in? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Okay, no, I love the Olympics. I've
Okay,
been
me
watching
too.
it every day, and I actually just came back from Oregon, so I had a nice long flight, and I was able to watch some Olympics on the plane. That was really great. I think my favorite one, and probably my favorite Olympian, is probably Noah Lyles. I just love his confidence and the way that he can go out there and talk mess, and then just absolutely kick butt and still take names. Man, I love it.
Yeah.
And if I could medal in anything, probably would be nothing. So let's go ahead and put that out there first.
Same here. I am not athletic.
But if I had to choose one, probably, I'd probably say shooting.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen, of course, all the talk with, like, I think he's from Turkey or something. The guy who just went out there with everybody else looks like Inspector Gadget, and he's just
I know.
there like.
He's so cold with it. He's just like, I'm just going to run one for the one time, and does it.
I love it. Did you get to watch the race with Noah Lyles? That was insane.
I did get to watch it. Absolutely nuts. And I think that's why I gave you the answer I did, is because if he hadn't backed it up, I probably wouldn't have said that, but he backed it up.
Yeah. More importantly, have you been watching any of the Snoop Dogg coverage that is going along with this Olympics? For me, that has outweighed just about anything else.
The double OG, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love Snoop. And I actually came on a couple seasons too late on The Voice, in my opinion, because Snoop Dogg's now on The Voice. And so I missed that. But no, I love Snoop and everything that he's doing for the Olympics and everything like that. I think it's just great.
I love it. Well, let's talk about your music. We're a huge fan of your music, but for a lot of people that maybe don't know your backstory, I'm kind of interested. How did music play a role in your childhood? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they're young, that's when the bug or, the spark kind of starts, and then it grows as you get older. So how did it play a role in your childhood?
Absolutely. Well, all my family, they're all musicians, and I actually grew up in church playing the drums, and that's what I started on. My dad sat me down. I have a twin brother, and he said, you boys can do one of two things in life. You can be a ballerina player or a football player, or a ballerina or a football player. And he said, you can do one of two things, but you're going to play the drums and you're going to play the bass. And so that's what we did. And we had a little family business, I guess you could call it. And we'd travel around, and I'd play the drums. My brother would play the bass. My mom played the piano, and my dad played the guitar. And so we would travel around and we'd sing all together and play our instruments. And that's kind of how we got started. And I didn't really start singing until I was about 16 or 17 years old. And so not too long ago, but I didn't start until late in life. And I guess I just picked up on it. And Dad was like, you can actually do this. And I was like, you think so? Because I'd always watched him sing. And he's like, no, man, you got it. And he's always pushed me. My family's always pushed me ever since the moment that I can remember starting singing. So
I love it. So obviously you're on The Voice. That's where a lot of people recognize you from. But, was it really your family that kind of was like, you should do this? This is such a great opportunity? Or like, how does that work? Because I don't feel like a lot of people understand. To us, the viewer, it looks like, a random person walking on stage. But I mean, I think as seasons have gone on, people are like, oh, there's clearly more to this. So kind of a two-part question, who really convinced you to do this? And then how did you ultimately end up getting your audition?
I think a lot of people, they've got an idea of how the show works and stuff like that from the outside looking in. And, even I did before I was involved in it. I was like, they definitely just pick randos. But no, they've got people that have had record contracts and have #1 singles and stuff like that actually get to come on the show. But the difference for me, I was a nobody. I was working a 9 to 5, and I was detailing cars, and I was washing cars and doing all that stuff, and working my butt off. And I was sitting down on the couch one day with my wife, and we were watching The Voice, and she was like, I really think you should try this out. And I was like, you think so? Like, I don't they would just look at me like I'm a nobody, you know, and just roll on. But she's like, no, let's just try it. And so one day I did one of those online submissions,
Okay.
and they immediately called me back within the first minute or two and were like, we want you to do the next step and do a callback. And I was like, really? I mean, it just blew my mind, because I didn't think, you know, this little guy from Chattanooga, Tennessee would be able to reach the national stage like that. So it just really blew my mind that they would take a chance on me.
I love it. How nerve-wracking is it really singing to a bunch of people not looking at you? Like, I feel like it's such a mind, like, effort.
Yeah, whatever you're
Because it's
thinking
like,
is, yeah.
because it's like you have all of these audience members, nobody is looking at you. So like you have some people looking at you, some people not looking at you. Your loved ones are behind the scenes. There's lights everywhere. So like, did you really kind of seize that moment, or was there like a little bit of anxiety there for you?
I think the first time that I performed, I was definitely the most nervous that I'd ever been in my life.
Okay.
You walk out there, nobody's talking, you know, it's just a room full of people. It's completely dead silent. They don't even say your name or who you are. Just
Really?
next artist entering now. And you walk out there, and I didn't see my family across the way, but they were standing across the way. And you see the 4 red chairs, you know, Nile, Gwen, John Legend, and Reba, and you're like, dude, this is for real. No way, this is actually happening. And you walk out on stage, you're still dead silent, and then your song starts, and you're fighting for your life. And so I think that's what I was doing out there. I was fighting for my life.
Well, clearly you fought very well.
Well, I'll take it. I'll take
I
it.
love it. But I feel like, you know, a lot of people, I know there's like certain songs you can choose from. And I don't know how much artistic, you know, integrity or creativity you get, but what was your favorite song that you got to perform? Or was there like a really kind of a favorite moment that you'll always carry with you from the show?
I think my favorite moment probably for me was the next round after that. It was my battle round that I did with Jackie Rohr, and we sang "Need a Favor" by Jelly Roll. And actually, after that performance, Jelly Roll followed me and messaged me and was like, "You killed it." And I was like, "No way, dude! This is insane." But I just love the song, and just being able to work with somebody else that was so talented, you know, and kind of put our forces together and let the world know we're here to make this thing a career. You know, we're here to do this for a living. And I think that was my favorite moment of the show for me.
I love it. So let's talk post show. I kind of want to ask you about your songwriting. I'm such a nerd for that because, again, I cannot write a song to save my life. I like to make
Okay.
songs to like nothing. I have, similar to probably you, a page on my notes app that I have ideas. So if anybody wants to ever come to me, you're welcome. I just want
I'll
something.
be coming to you then.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all you need.
I love it. But how do you approach writing a song? I mean, I really don't feel like there's a wrong way to do it. I definitely think there's, you know, a formula to some extent, but I feel like nowadays that formula is changing or honestly ripped up and thrown out the window. So how do you approach writing a song?
Well, you see so many independent artists now that have so much success. And for me as a writer, that's so encouraging, because it's great that we don't have to fit some kind of mold, you know, that people would actually listen to a song. Like, I think Zach Bryan is a great example of someone who is, you know, able to just be an independent artist and write independent songs and do it his way, you know, and he's just one of the great examples in my opinion. But for me, it's just, okay, how am I feeling in this moment? How can I really portray what emotions I have going on in here and in here and put them on paper? And I've always loved to write. I remember being in college and having a paper due, you know, with 2 hours to go and just knocking it out.
Oh, good for
And
you.
and I mean, that's what I did. I mean, very probably a mediocre paper, but we got the job done in a
But
very
it
short
was
amount of
turned in,
time.
it was submitted. Yes.
Yeah, it was done. Okay, we got a B. I'll take it.
Hey,
Yeah,
B's get degrees, baby. I
that's
love it.
right. That's right. And the overall grade was a C. So C's get degrees is definitely what I live by. But yeah, I think for me, it's just, you know, how am I feeling in here? What am I feeling in here? And how can I let people relate to that, right? So how can I put it so that other people can feel the way that I'm feeling, but also know, you know, the other side of that thing, how to get through it, how to get on the other side of that. And so for me, that's kind of my formula, is I'm thinking about the people that are going to be hearing it, right? And first, so it's let me throw out my thoughts on the page, and then think about how people are going to receive it.
I love it. So your music has this kind of rock, southern rock tinge to it, which I love. So I grew up on like CCR, Allman Brothers. My mom literally like
Yeah.
shoved that stuff down my throat, which when I was little, I was like, Greg Allman, this is horrible. And now, I won't say my age, but at my age I am, I'm like, all hail Greg Allman. Like this is the
Yeah.
so I love that you kind of have this rock tinge to it, but how did you kind of find your sound? I feel like, again, you are mentioning, a lot of these independent artists are finding a lot of success just being themselves because there are so many people that can relate to who they are, coming to the table just as they are. So how did you kind of nail down your sound?
I think for me, it's like you said. Those are big inspirations for me. Allman Brothers, like Marshall Tucker Band,
Oh,
all that stuff, man. That's what I grew up on. And I've got older parents. They're both 65 years old, and so for me, I was able to hear, which is a good thing. It's a good thing, Mom and Dad.
that's how old my
Don't get
parents
mad at me.
are. 65's the new 35. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was just I was able to hear that stuff at a very young age, and when I was on the way to school, like that's the stuff that would be going over and over in my head, and those kind of tunes. So it's always going to be with me, that kind of music. And then, I think just putting it to like a modern sound, I just have this vision of this old kind of country rock music making a comeback. And I think Chris Stapleton has done it a lot, and people just haven't really pinpointed him in that rock music, but he has released some rock music.
Yeah.
And I really, really love that side of things. And I think, if we can have that sound and put a modern twist on it that kind of gives it a radio marketability, kind of style sound, then it could be something that works. I don't know, but I think it's working now.
I love it. So let's talk about Like an Outlaw. I feel like that is the perfect example that it's definitely country, but it's kind of southern rock leaning as
Yeah.
well. It's kind of a Renaissance type of song. So talk to me about how that song came to be and why you wanted it to be so guitar heavy, because I think that's one of my favorite parts about the song.
Yeah, I actually heard a clip for "Ain't No Love in Oklahoma" by Luke Combs off the new Twisters album,
Yep.
and I was like, dude, I really, really like how this just punches you in the face,
Yeah.
man. It just gives you a black eye immediately, and I love that. I love it, and so I was like, and I did produce it, and
Oh, you did.
yeah, I did produce it. I had somebody produce my first single, and he did a really, really fantastic job, but he was very, very expensive. And as much as I would like to use him all the time, I'm an independent artist and I can only do so much. But I was like, how do I kind of achieve the sound that I'm looking for here? And so I got a guy, one of my college buddies, who came in and he was like, let's just layer this thing down with guitar. And it took about a week to really get it how I wanted it to sound. But we did it in a pro studio soundstage here in Nashville and did it upright. And the guy who mixed it has done some Jelly Roll stuff and things. And yeah, and so he really put his twist on it and killed it as far as I'm concerned.
Did your brother play bass? Was he involved in this?
He did not play bass
Oh,
on
okay.
this one. I know. He's so good. Hehe's so good.
We'll have to get him in on the next one. I love it. But I wanted to ask you kind of what's next? What can we expect from you? I love your voice. I know our followers at All Country News love your voice. It's so unique and it's so distinctive. Like we know that it's you. So what's next for you? What goals do you have for yourself? I can't believe the year. We're only like 5 months from Christmas. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, there's not much time left. This year kind of flew by. But,
I really did.
I think the goal for me is just to keep releasing music. Like I have things that people need to hear. It's not what I want them to hear, but my songs are to help people. I've got a new song coming out called Bent But Ain't Broken that's going to come out next month that I'm super, super excited about. And it just talks about, having 4 late bills and $1 to your name. How do you get by with something like that? How do you get up in the morning and overcome something like that, to keep making it through the week? And I just wrote a song about it and I hope it helps people. But that's what's next for me, and just to keep releasing music as much as possible and keep doing shows, gaining experience, because the show was great, don't get me wrong, but now this is time for Bias to kind of take his range, and show that I have a place in the country music industry.
I love it. Well, you definitely do. Thank you so much for chatting with me. The only thing I need from you is if you have an updated like press photo that you want to send us.
Yeah,
Just on that
absolutely.
email thread. So I don't know if you've seen it on our page before, but you're going to get like your own little post on our page. Feel free to share the crap out of it.
Will
And
do.
you have like a Facebook page as well. Okay,
I
perfect.
do. It's just
on
bias.
Facebook and Threads, and it's just bias. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And like I said, this is going to be out next Tuesday. So it was like perfect timing and
Sick.
quick turnaround and love it. So yeah, just thank you so much for taking the time and congrats on everything.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh,
Seriously.
anytime.
Means a lot.
Anytime. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll chat soon.
You're listening to